right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You were listening to the Morning Edge webinar, so let's get started with our morning analysis. Um, Let me get over to the bias chart. Okay. All right. All right. So let's start off with the euro dollar. Okay. So yesterday, with the euro, we talked about. Here, let's get over to our 4-hour chart. You can kind of see where we're at. So the euro dollar had we talked about this yesterday. It was sitting down here in the 111.40s. We're like, well, you know, if it looks like it can rally back to 111.80, and then reverse up there. Now, what we've done is we're basically holding right around 111.80. So we're up where we thought. I actually shorted some last night. I put my stop above 112. I mean, I haven't been stopped out. And I'm short, like basically here. I'll probably end up closing it out here in a minute, focusing on other things. But the euro dollar is, you can see it's right up against this downtrend line here. But it's above it right now. So because it's above it, the risk is that we continue higher. But I think a lot of this is really dependent on what happens in the commodities market. Because you can see like copper, or I was going to say copper, gold. It's looking a little like it might have peaked last night in Asia. The dollar doesn't look. The dollar's pulled back, but if you look at the dollar, it's hasn't pulled back too much. So I haven't done anything with the euro being short. I'm short at 76 right here. I haven't done anything with it. I'm not sure what I want to do with it, but I do think that this is all pretty key resistance. Now, I still think the 111.20s are still doable. Now, we've been as low as 111. In European trade, 111.65, but it's again, it's another night of very tight ranges. I mean, we've had a 43 pip trading range, really tight trading range thus far. But then the 40s where we're at, this is last night an Asian trade. I mean, we haven't really gone anywhere at all. So support, I still think major support is going to be 111.25. Okay, 111.25 is big time support. That is the big 618 retracement. And so what I'm trying to say here is, if we get to new lows in the euro, I don't know if we're going to go much lower than that. The euros, especially tomorrow, we've got Janet Yellen. She is speaking. She has a speech late in the afternoon. About her she's going to speak about her groundbreaking achievements at Radcliffe Day 2016 in Massachusetts. About her groundbreaking day. I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. But anyway, she is speaking. She is speaking tomorrow. I don't know what that speech is going to be about at all, but it should be, regardless, interesting. We have GDP tomorrow as well. So 111.25. I mean, that should offer us really great support today. So 111.25, and that's going to be key support. Resistance for the euro. We're still flagging here. Let me build. I don't want to remove everything. Hell. Let's redo this all. Okay. So let's just draw these back like we had them. Oops. No. Kind of, we know where everything's at. Okay, so that's all really key longer term support. Okay, and ultimately, I mean, if you want to get long in the euro dollar, I think this is the place to do it personally. Okay, at 110.50 or wherever that is. God, I didn't even realize that. Okay, so we have 110, 127% extension just below here. Let's do some fibs from here. This is the 618, right? The 111.25 from here. See, the 50% retracement is going to be right there at the 110.50 level. See, that's ultimately where I think is going to be a great place to be a buyer of the euro, is going to be right there. You know, there's a lot of people that are getting very bearish the dollar right now, and I've been seeing it like a lot. So I think what will be really interesting is if we go out and take out new lows in the euro dollar. You know, again, I think a lot of this has to do with the yen. Yeah, I think everybody's focus right now is on the euro, but I think the yen's probably and arguably a more important instrument right now as far as the dollar goes. Okay, so you can see we're trying to breach that trend line resistance, trying to just having a little bit of a difficult time here. Hold on, I shorted some Kiwi at 40. I'm trying to just look at it a little bit here. I shorted it just a little while ago. Before this webinar, we hit a 618 basically. We came near 161% extension. Yeah, we're showing a little bit of a reversal, but just sitting in that. Okay, anyway, going back over to the euro dollar. So the question is, where's resistance today? And let's remove that for a minute. See this area, and I'm just going to give you a kind of a say that area. Oops. This area is going to be pretty good resistance. I'm going to mark it up as 112. And I mean, we've been in tight ranges, and it's still bearish bias. We've been in tight ranges for the last couple of days. You know, pretty much across the board. And it's like every day our euro dollar range is like 30, 40, 50 pips, you know, this week. It's been really, really tight. So I don't know if anything's going to really change today. You know what I mean? So even if we break new highs and we get to 112, I mean, are we really going to push too much farther out of our daily range? Or our daily ranges have been very, very tight this whole week, really. So I'm just kind of looking at thinking about taking some profits in the Kiwi soon. All right, let's go over to the cable. Here's the pound. Okay, so we hit the 127% extension, the 786 or the excuse me 88% retracement. I have my stops, and I'm not joking. I have my stops at 147, 147.41. Actually, I can tell you right where it's at. My stop is at 147.41, and I thought it was maybe some odd tenth of a pip, but I literally missed getting stopped out by 2 pips, or maybe a pip and a half. That's lucky. Typically, that doesn't happen. I put it just above here. I'm like, okay, if they come out and they take me, then they're going to try to take it, you know, up into new highs. But I really think that this 146.50 is going to offer some really good support here, 146.60. Okay. Now, if the pound dollar breaks through that support, then that's gonna I think take down the pound just near term. Okay, because if you draw this trend line here, okay, it might take us back down towards like 146, but 146.60 is going to be support for today. Again, I'm staying with the theme of very tight trading ranges right now. It seems like that is the case. Um, so we have to write down 147, and remember, it's all these poles that are coming out that are really moving the cable. 146.60 is support. We are in a range environment with the cable. Let's take a look at the Swissy. So the Swissy pullbacks have been very minor. You know, you can see right now we're holding 98.85. Okay, if we can break below that, then that's going to expose that move down towards 98. Flip side is it's not really selling off either, so 99.40. Okay. So let's go, I'm going to write down 98.85, and then resistance being 99.40. I think that's right? 99.40? 35, 99.35. Crude. Did crude just pop to 50? Hold on. I think crude hit 50. It had to do it. This would be range. Okay. You can see the late bloomer Canadian sellers that had just come in. Crude, let's go take a look at it. There we go, above 50. Here we go. You knew it was going to happen, just a matter of time. Okay. So crude, above 50. Let's see, 50.20. Let's see it. It had to take the stops above 50. I mean, it was just, you know, had to. Let's see here. Hold on. Let me get you a extension. 50.20. Let it get to 50.20, people. I don't trade crude, but I'm just saying that that's probably where we're going. Oops. That'd be 127% extension. That would be channel resistance too. US dollar Swedish krona is hitting new highs. I like it. There was a bunch of data out of Sweden last night. It was producer prices and business confidence, consumer confidence, all came in pretty weak. So the US dollar Swedish krona is hitting highs. Always keep note of that because, you know, it tends to lead the dollar around. But it was moved because of data. So Okay, here's crude. Gold's coming down. Where is my crude? Damn it, where is my crude? Oh, there it is. Okay. Move that down there so I can keep an eye on it. There it is. Okay. So high right now is 50.09. Let's say 50.20. US dollar Mexican peso new lows. That's because equities are rallying. I think, well, maybe a little, um, uh, double whammy with equities rallying and then crude rallying too. Okay. Anyway, just kind of keeping an eye on crude, seeing if it can push higher. It's not a lot of follow through just yet. Very slow markets, surprisingly. This euro is weak. Okay. All right. Let's go back to what we were doing. What were we talking about? Where did we leave off? Okay. Let's go to the yen. So you guys got to keep an eye on the yen. The yen, I think, is that stealth dollar mover that, we sold off an Asian trade, went to 109.40, bounced right back up to 110, and it's holding up really well. If the dollar starts to rally against this yen, and 110.60 is obviously it. I mean, that's the high here, 110.58, so 110.60. Okay, that's going to be really key. Overnight low is 109.40. And we're in a range, but we're threatening. Whoops, I'm sorry. This is bullish. My bad. My bad. We're in a range, but we're threatening to turn bullish here on the dollar yen. And like I said, you got to watch the yen, because if the yen turns bullish, it could really perpetuate dollar strength. It took the dollar down when the dollar yen was falling aggressively. If the dollar yen is rallying, it could aggressively rally the dollar. Okay, you can have the exact opposite effect. That's why you got to keep an eye on the dollar yen. I think that's like the canary in the coal mine right now. It's the one that, I keep telling you guys that I think that it's the time is to be buying the dollar yen. I just haven't done it yet. I can't tell you how bearish I am of the Japanese economy, and I really want to be short yen. I just haven't done so yet. But yeah, you got to watch this dollar yen. It's creeping up on us quickly, and everybody might construe that as risk on, but I don't know, man. It's going up even in risk when this market's risk off. So that's That's the kind of clue I've been looking for. All right, let's do the Canadian really quick. So the dollar Canadian, I am long, and I'm my stops are below 129, just so you guys know. My cost average is at 130.60. I am bummed out that we've sold off this far. I thought we were going to bounce at 30. I bought some yesterday at 130, I think 130.30, and I'm like, okay, I'm done. I'm not buying any more of this Canadian. Now we hit the 618 today, and that comes in at 129.30. The 38% retracement, this is why my stop is down here, is at 129.10, and I think we can get down there. I'm hoping we don't. Oh, look at this. Look at the euro, by the way. Euro's starting to roll over. I'm telling you, this dollar looks like it could start squeezing. Anyway, everybody's leaning on the dollar. That's the craziest thing about this whole thing. Everybody is bearish the dollar right now. Everybody. Everybody's like, oh, the dollar's gone too far. It can't go any higher. Fed ain't going to raise rates in June. Everybody's turned bearish the dollar just over the last, I would say, 48 hours. So this dollar could really, put the squeeze on. And it may not be as squeezy against like the Canadian, maybe because crude oil is so strong. But man, you start talking about a squeeze against the euro, the cable, some of these commodity currencies that just really are underperforming, generally speaking, like the Aussie and the Kiwi. Swedish Krona just hit new highs. Just some food for thought. Okay, anyway, the Canadian. So the Canadian, I'm going to write down two levels of support. We got 129.10 and 129.30, both which I think can be tested today. I mean, we tested basically 129.30, but so 129.10, 129.30, okay? Resistance is going to be at 130. There's no doubt about that. So any move back up to 130, you're going to find sellers. I can't even imagine that there aren't going to be sellers perched out at 130 thinking, oh crap, I own it, like where I own it, 130.60, 130.30, and I'm just happy I got back to 130. So 130, what is this, 15? Because that's the peak over there. I'm going to write down 130.15 actually. I think that's going to be resistance. All right. I've had it at bullish because we have this inverted head and shoulder pattern. And I still think the inverted head and shoulder pattern can play, especially if we close at like 130 today. Then we have a hammer on the daily chart, and then next thing you know, we're heading back higher again. But that obviously has a lot to do with crude. So I'm going to keep it on bullish, but we're threatening to turn back no range. Okay, threatening. Come on, Kiwi, come on down. I'm going to do the Kiwi really quick. So the New Zealand dollar, we hit a okay. So the Kiwi dollar, 67 cents, obviously held. Last night the budget release came out, and the Kiwi just it probed 67 cents, but with the commodity market strength, you saw crude strengthening, gold strengthening, copper strengthening. The Kiwi just bounced back. 67 cents is still big support. Resistance is at 67.75. Okay, it's still in a bearish trend, because we're outside of this outside of this this trend line, but you can see we're holding that channel support too. So it's frustratingly bearish. How about that? Okay, we're gonna stop there. I'll be back. We'll do the Aussie, the dollar index, peso, all that fun stuff. I'll be back in a few moments. Don't go anywhere. All right, traders, this is Blake Morrow. You are listening to the Morning Edge webinar, and crude continues to forge new highs. We're almost at that 50-20 level, which is, remember, it's 127% extension. The dollar Canadian's inching back towards its lows on the day. The euro is still looking pretty weak. Cable's holding up well. Kiwi and the Aussie aren't really doing much. Dollar yen's just sitting there. Yeah, I mean, all eyes are on crude right now. All right, let's take a look at the Aussie dollar. So here's the Aussie. So the Aussie's pushing up. Now, I wasn't really confident in what I was drawing yesterday with the Aussie, and I'm still really not. The reason why I say that, because this isn't a good, like I was just really unsure with the Aussie. You know, I think, and I'm going to write it down just like we had it yesterday. Resistance is at 72.50. Support is at 71.40. And I think you just kind of leave it alone while it's in there. I really don't know what to do with the Aussie at this point. You know, we're in between fibs here. I just, you know, you can see we're just hovering around the 618. I just think that, you know, all the attention is off the Aussie at the moment. What was really impressive is the CapEx came in weaker than expected, and I think the market was expecting that anyway. But the Aussie sold off and then bounced right back. So that in itself was fairly strong as far as the Aussie goes. But I think 72.50 is still going to offer resistance here. So, whoops, 72.50 and then 71.40, right? Let's go over to the dollar index. So here's the dollar index, and the dollar index pullbacks have been very minor. We have right now, it looks like this. Well, I'm gonna write down 95 as we've had it, but even 95.10 is offering pretty good support. But 95 should be pretty key for bulls. So that would be key support. Resistance is 95.65, and that's also really key, because if we break that, then the dollar squeezing is really going to start. You know, like I said, I think everybody's pretty bearish the dollar up here and have been over the last couple of days. We are in a range, but you know, we're, like I said, we're still holding up pretty damn well. Hold on really quick. We hit 50.20 in crude. Hold on really quick. Okay. I was going to tweet that chart, but um, hold on. Okay. Um, you guys just know that's major resistance right there. That's all I really want to point out. Let's go back into the peso. Okay. You got to be careful with this euro, guys. Um, Peso, 830, 860. Same as yesterday. We're getting close to support. And you know what? If the stock market rolls over here and crude rolls, look at crude oil. Again, I don't want to point out the obvious here, but hold on. Let's see. CLN6. Watch the shooting star here. Okay. So just keep an eye on crude. So here is the peso, and like I said, I think the peso, if the market turns a little risk off and crude does turn, then the peso may bounce. So just keep that in mind. Let's go over to the Norwegian Krona. So the Norwegian Krona, we are approaching a trend line support here. I'm still long the Norwegian Krona. It's small, and same with my Swedish Krona. It's small. I'm not really paying a whole lot of attention to it. But I know key support comes in at 825. If you guys don't remember why that's key support, that's the inverted head and shoulder pattern neckline. You know, the Canadians failed to hold, so I don't know. You know, this might fail to hold too. But support will be at 825. Oh shoot, sorry. I thought I already wrote down the stuff. 1830, 1860. Still bullish. US dollar, Norwegian Krona, 8.25. Now, if crude can turn and the euro can turn, this may turn as well. We just hit 127%. I know this is close, but I'm going to write it down anyway, just because if we break back above 830, then that probably means that crude is turning. Okay. It's still bullish, it's just pulling back. Swedish Krona. You got to keep an eye on the Swedish Krona for those of you that trade the Nordic currencies. I'm actually considering adding to the US dollar Swedish Krona, especially if the euro turns around and starts, you know, heading lower, because this is a flag, and we had good Swedish numbers overnight. Okay, you can see that this trend line basically connects with the breakout point, which is 8. Let's just write down 827. And oh wow, come on crude, come on down. And resistance will be at 835 and 840. So, but if we break through 835, that'll kickstart that bull flag. And it's still bullish. Okay. Okay. That's our bias chart for now. Let's keep an eye on this crude. The RBOB turned around too. That's an hourly reversal there. CLN6. I'm just going to keep that chart here just to have it up. Okay. So anyway, keep an eye on crude here. Canadian's still weak. Canadian's at its lows of the day. Damn, this Canadian cannot even get out of its own way. Seriously. Friggin' Canadian, I tell ya. Okay. Well, this is really key support for the Canadian. This is the 618 retracement at 129.30. This damn Canadian. No, I'm not saying you damn Canadians, you listening in. Talking about your stupid currency.